Good evening. The Toronto Raptors beat the team that used to be in Vancouver by a score of, it's a close one, 116-111. Um, it felt like the Memphis team that will remain unnamed. I could say Memphis and I can say what team it is, but not together. But this is a new look Raptor team, 2-0 in the post trade era, and I mean, Immauel Quickley just it's really entertaining to watch, and it's like exactly what the Raptors needed. And I felt like pretty much all of the runs that Memphis went on was when he was on the bench. He led the team in plus minus last time I checked, plus 13 with like a minute still left in the game. And you saw some chemistry with Scotty. You can see from the 3-point line and then on drives as well. So that's really good to see. And yeah, this team just continues to look different than they have for the first, 30 games or so. And I always cheer against the team that used to be in Vancouver, and got some memorabilia here from that era that we can get into later on. Maybe reminisce a little Vancouver Grizzlies. I was excited to see a lot of empty seats in Memphis tonight. I know they're 27th in the NBA in attendance. I'm not bitter, but they're 27th in the NBA in attendance. A lot of lower bowl empty seats. A lot of empty seats. And they look comfy too. I saw a lot of blue vinyl on my screen, and that made me very happy because I'm not over it, and I'm very petty, and so it makes me very happy that the Grizzlies have accomplished absolutely nothing since leaving. And I think they sell a lot of $3 tickets and are 27th in the NBA in attendance. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Vancouver used to hover around 20 or around 16 to 20. When they got really shitty, it went down a bit, but around 16 to 20 with a dog shit team. And so congratulations to the city of Memphis for stealing the team. We'll get into that later, a little bit conspiracy theories, but I'm always happy to see that team that used to be in Vancouver lose. Always happy, and you get to see it quite often. So great stuff. So it was kind of weird at the end of the game. I don't know if people noticed this, but there was definitely a little bit of like Quickley, Schroeder. They both played really well, but there was some like Quickley, Schroeder, like I want to bring the ball up. No, I want to bring the ball up, and then kind of some like negative body language from both of them, just kind of being like, what? Like I thought I was bringing the ball up, so I noticed that on I think 5 plays down the stretch. So that's like one thing they kind of need to figure out. But I mean, other than that, I thought the chemistry was really good. Quickly, I mean, and this has kind of given a rebirth to Jakob Hurtle. I mean, he's definitely still Treebeard, but he's the Treebeard who's fucking up Isengard and not, wandering Fangorn. So that's been a cool thing to see. He's getting a lot more involved. He's a lot more aggressive, just playing a lot harder. He was kind of playing soft. So I don't know if he's just a huge Immauel Quickley fan or RJ Barrett fan. RJ Barrett, by the way, younger than Delano Banton. And I figured that out today, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And, of course, younger than Precious, younger than Malachi, younger than Gary. But, yeah, younger than Delano is kind of wild. Zach Lowe entertained him being a quote-unquote toxic asset. And Evan Mobley's a budding to a superstar. I need some new podcasts. But, the thing with Barrett that's really nice is the aggression on drives. We don't see, other than Scotty, even Pascal sometimes avoids contact, but we don't usually see too much of that from, players in Raptors uniforms. So that's been a bit of an awakening. Can't get my fucking, there we go. That's been a bit of an awakening for the team. I thought he played really good defense too tonight, RJ Barrett. I thought he was really aggressive. And the team just makes so much more sense now. And I think Dennis is playing a lot better because now Dennis is in more of that bench role, carrying bench units, but playing with bench units a lot more. Just the roster is a lot more balanced out. It's not like they have to, they're not starved for guards anymore. So, I mean, Memphis did go on some runs tonight, and as I said off the top, it was noticed there was a in the second quarter. Memphis went on a 13-4 run at 2:04 in the second quarter, and they also went on an 18-8 run at 2:05 of the third quarter, and both of those times Quickley was on the bench. And Quickley started the third quarter with a 5-0 run, and then him and Scotty had a really cool sequence where Quickley hit a three, and then on the very next play, he drew two, like drew Scotty's guy, and then kicked it out to Scotty, who hit the three. And I talked about that on last post-game show. That went 3.5 hours. I don't know if it's going to go 3.5 hours, but that's kind of what that's what I envisioned, as kind of the best way that they can work together is, I mean, in terms of on the perimeter, they're both shooting threes. They're both going to have gravity, and that was just a perfect kind of encapsulation of what you would kind of draw up as your fantasy, them having chemistry together. And so that was really good to see. And I think that the only thing, and this is kind of widely noted and talked about, is it's kind of, how like RJ Barrett, by the way, most fun name to say in like a New York Mafia accent is RJ Barrett. There's some New York podcaster who was talking about him, and he just was like, RJ Barrett. There's the thing about RJ Barrett. He finishes like really hard around the rim, and Quickley just like doesn't do that. And I know some people have talked about this, and there were a few drives today where he kind of like not quite Gary Trent Jr.'s it, but like, you know what I mean, kind of falling away from contact. But other than that, like, he's really confident in the mid range. He's really confident from three. Great 3-point shooting night for him tonight. He goes 5 for 8 from three. And the 8 for 18, a lot of those misses were around the rim. So that's kind of the only area that he kind of seems to struggle in. And I don't know if it's a case of taking a little bit more floaters, taking shots a bit further out, or trying to seek the contact a little bit more. But his 3-point shooting, it was really kind of electric. The Raptors. I know Steve Jones Jr. said, I think since Fred VanVleet haven't had a player like this, but I don't know. The podcasts are kind of, they all wheeled into together sometimes, but I don't really think the two are that similar. But anyways, we had Marcus Smart. He was as usual quite emotional in this game. He's always kind of been, he had that thing at Texas in college where he kind of got physical, a little Malice in the Palace kind of type thing. I'm happy he's on the Grizzlies. He's completely auraless, so I'm happy that he's perfect team for him to be on. I kind of wish they had like Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman as well, but they don't. But yeah, he just, he's elbowing and flailing around. I've made a couple of Marcus Smart videos of him slipping on his own ass sweat and then screaming and complaining. And yeah, he's a very emotional and vocal type player. And I think when you take him out of a Boston context and put him on the team that used to be in Vancouver, it's I don't know, it's just a weird fit. And I think it's easy as an NBA fan to go, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days without even remembering that he's on the team that used to be in Vancouver. There's a little play with Santi Aldama with Pascal. I thought Santi fouled Pascal, and then Santi got a little elbow, and Santi kind of went back with his head. I don't know. It's kind of, they looked it up. They looked over on the thing, and so yeah, it was kind of a scrappy. It was a bit of a scrappy game. It's funny, like Schroeder used to be in the middle of all these, and he's not as much anymore. But he played good tonight. But yeah, kind of a scrappy game. I thought Jaren Jackson Jr. with his like kind of, I don't know what's the metaphor for his 3-point shot. It's just like he's when he shoots the ball looks like it's like 18 pounds. It's just like how you would shoot like a medicine ball. It's just like, it's kind of wild, but worked for him. It worked for him. We had Ja Morant. I don't know what he had courtside, but he was like, it looked like a hydrogen bomb that he was like sucking on. I took a picture and put it on Twitter. It kind of got some funny answers about what it was, but apparently it was some oxygen thing that was on Shark Tank. Somebody said that. I don't know, if I was a beat reporter, I would just ask Ja about like katanas, nukes, stinky bombs, dirty bombs, the blob, or what was the Hiroshima Nagasaki bombs called? The blob and the other one. There's two of them. But I would see how locked in he's into like weaponry, just in general, like how in favor he is, like hydrogen bombs, like all that stuff. Or is it just the guns? Like where does he kind of tap out in terms of weapons? That's what I would be interested to find out if I was a guy covering the team that used to be in Vancouver. I would be asking him a lot of questions about weapons, specifically nuclear weapons. Very interested to hear his thoughts on that. What countries he would like to deploy them to. Of course we know about his long history, and he's kind of a connoisseur of not only weapons but violence. So it'd be an interesting guy to talk nukes with. Just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit. Maybe talk about napalm, anthrax. But yeah, he's back from his suspension. I think they're 5-2 with him. Congratulations. Now they're 5-3, and they probably miss. You miss a guy like Dylan Brooks tonight, but. Enough about that. We had RJ Barrett, who had a really nice spin move, and then what I like about him is he's able to hang for like a split second in the air and then finish, which Scotty's really good at that too, but not very many players seem to be like great at that. And Precious would do that once in a while too, but he's able to kind of hang and adjust and then finish accordingly around the defender. He did that a couple of times tonight. Again, I like the pressure he puts on the rim. Some questionable decision making. I know that's always kind of been a thing with him. I thought Darko was smart to keep Pascal in with 5 fouls. That's kind of been something that Darko has struggled with or gone away from, is taking players out with 4 or 5 fouls and they don't end up fouling out. I feel it's pretty rare that players foul out of a game. We saw Jontay Porter in this game check in before Chris Boucher, so that I'm not saying I don't love it, but I don't understand it because Jontay Porter hasn't been called up when there's been struggles at center. They've been putting Thad out. Dear God, Memphis resident, I believe, or from Memphis, Thaddeus Young, but he didn't play in this game. McDaniels didn't play in this game. But it's interesting how they called up Jontay, put him in before Boucher when they've been having center struggles in the past. And he didn't shoot the ball that well, but the stretch that he was on, they played really well. And I thought that he was like in the right places, kind of doing the right things. I mean, 0 points, but he was a +9 in 7 minutes. So, I mean, yeah, you'd like if a couple of the shots went in. I know Blake Murphy's very high on him. Blake actually DM'd me during the game, so I'm very nervous to open that up. I don't know what kind of maybe there's a dirty bomb, some ants. Can you send anthrax via Twitter? We'll go check that out later tonight. When I'm watching the game, I like to try not to communicate with people, so we'll check that out later. But yeah, I don't think anybody on the Raptors like played poorly, which is really rare. Like Gary kind of. I guess you could say Gary didn't play that well. 5 points in 21 minutes, and then of course 0 assists, 1 rebound. He's now kind of in a weird position, Gareth, because obviously you've got more guards. There's more people now taking up his quote unquote minutes. Like normally off the bench, I feel like he's been getting around 27, 28 minutes in a lot of these games, and he had 21 minutes tonight. So his minutes are coming down. I don't think he has deserved. It's not like a travesty. He continues to struggle, or not continues to struggle. I mean, the last week or so he's been better, but just overall in the season, it's definitely been a down season for him. And I remember one of the pregame shows. I didn't watch the pregame show today, actually. Big step for me. You know, normally I just come on here and bitch about the pregame shows. I'm just like, why do I even watch? Why do I like? So I tapped out of the pregame shows. Let me know in the chat if anything happened in the pregame show, and I'll look at the chat in a little bit. But I didn't watch the pregame show, but I do remember in a previous pregame show, I think it was either Matt said, Gary, or it might have been Jack. Gary sees himself as a starter, so when he comes off the bench, it's like not whatever the word is, and he's definitely has not played. I don't think, in a kind of starter capacity, and him and Dennis coming off the bench. I think Dennis plays better with the new folk, and again, the non RJ, non Quickley minutes are kind of when things went to shit, and the offense, you can just feel it just like slow down to like not a slog, but they both in their own way add a ton of pace to the offense, because Quickley, obviously, bringing the ball up, he was dribbling a little bit tonight, but I think there's a couple possessions where he was dribbling a little bit, but I think he's obviously still getting used to, the system, the players, who's where, who likes what passes on at what, angles, and who likes what shots. Like he's still learning that, but I think he brings a lot of pace. Not only in his, quick release 3-point shooting, where he's very willing to just take the open. Like there was one play in the first half where, and Fred used to take these all the time and just hit the bottom corner of the backboard. Felt like he was kind of aiming there on his pull-up threes a lot of the time. I almost did a video of like how to shoot a pull-up three like Fred VanVleet, and you aim for the bottom left corner of the backboard. But I think with Quickley, he's just like Fred, but they go in a little bit more, so that's nice. But he's just unafraid to take that shot. Like if he's in transition and there's 21 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's wide open for three, which happened once or twice tonight, he just takes it. Doesn't really hesitate, doesn't really think about it. And you just haven't seen that in a long time. He had a floater tonight. The floater game looks really good. And so, like I said off the top, in terms of him at the rim, he had 10 misses tonight in total. And I feel like 5 or 6 of them were kind of those kind of around the rim shots that he didn't have a ton of strength kind of on. And I know the New York, podcasters and stuff have been talking about that. That's kind of the only place where you'd want that. But I think with where the Raptors are at, his perimeter play is really the important thing. So he adds a lot of pace, getting downhill, and then, working around the perimeter. He relocates really well. So he'll pass it, and then he'll go to a place that's actually advantageous, unlike a Malachi who just kind of passes it, then runs away from the ball and doesn't really get it back. He intends to get it back, so you really like that. And that adds a lot of, off-ball movement. And then, Barrett, RJ Barrett. I don't think about RJ Barrett. I gotta find what podcast that was. It was just, I was dying at how New York he was saying that, guys. RJ Barrett. He adds pace by just how quickly he gets downhill into the rim and how aggressively he gets to the rim. And he gets in trouble sometimes, goes into traffic, knocks over some people. Got a little bit of that Mohamed Atta in him. We're in New York here. But yeah, like I think he had a few turnovers. He definitely had some turnovers. Only 3, so it's not too bad. But he had a couple threes tonight too, which is nice. But yeah, that he does kind of do the Precious OG thing a little bit, but I don't think it's as egregious. And I think his handle's better. He's under control more. And again, he's younger than Delano, so there's still lots of time. And I think that this system will be better for him than the New York system, which was just very ISO heavy, very slow. We saw him at Team Canada get out and open floor. He likes to run. He plays really hard. So, and he like, I'm not saying that other players don't, but he like genuinely really feels like he wants to be here. All over his socials and the way he talks, like he really, really like wants. Like it's not him just like, oh yeah, this is great that I'm here and I'm happy to be home. Like you can really tell. Darko's probably going to be telling him like, when you in that presser, the opening presser, he was kind of like, he had this kind of like frown face, and then they asked him about Toronto and he just like smiled. So maybe Darko will be telling him, like you're mid when you frown, but you're like a real baddie when you smile. So one more game, also 1 game away from the pizza party. So that's huge. That's Darko's pretty close to getting out of that joke. And he was up against his former team tonight. And honestly, I think he has a much easier job now that he has, just because before, when you didn't have not that they have a crazy, this is like a normal guard depth. It's not like they're super deep at the guard position, but they have like more of a normal guard depth now. I don't think we're ever going to see Scotty with like Thad, Jalen McDaniels, Precious, and Otto Porter. Like this is just not, it's like not going to happen anymore. It's just way more balanced. And then on the team that used to be in Vancouver side, the Desmond Bain stuff hurts. He had 22. I thought he was pretty effective tonight. You got Marcus Smart, just amazing game. He had 6 points in 33 minutes. He had 0 points at the half. I love watching. He's one of my favorite players to watch take a three, because it's so ugly that it's entertaining. He's one of those players where it's just so unaesthetically pleasing that it's actually pleasing. And I don't know how many, I could just have like burned images in my brain of like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and it's Marcus Smart just taking the game-winning three. And he loves that, what's that area called at the back of the rim? It's kind of that rectangle between the back of the rim and the backboard, that kind of flat. Like he loves to fucking nail that as hard as you possibly can. Like, it feels like that's what he's aiming to do, is just to launch the ball as hard at that back thing, the backstop or whatever it's called. And it's a joy to watch. It's a joy to watch. I love how frustrated he gets, and it's mostly self-inflicted wounds. He's like one of those kids from high school that would just like sit in the corner and like mutter to himself and be the cause of all of his own problems. So it's always very kind of a fun watch. You got Santi Aldama, 7 points, probably goes 16th in my 2021 redraft. Spanish whatever, something, say Spanish king, but not really. But the main story for, like, if you're the Grizzlies and you're giving, if they would have won this game and they gave out a chain, you would have given it to Zaire Williams, who was 4 for 7 from 3. He had 18 points, 6 rebounds as well. It felt like every time that he shot a 3 that it went in. I'm surprised that he didn't hit more, and they were all from that same like right elbow wing spot. He really likes that spot, I guess. I think they traded a fuckload to get that pick. Speaking of a pick, we have autographed Big Country Reeves card here. What year is this? This is I can't see that. I can't see what year this is, but we'll go through some of these in a sec. We got I got a autographed Blue Edwards one somewhere in here, who I met a couple times. He had a very famous scandal. He was a shooting guard. I think he played a lot better before he got to Vancouver, and then he got in some big scandal that he was kind of more known for. It was like a sex scandal or something, just off the court. Speaking of Z Williams, I guess that's Williamson. Sorry, apologies to Zara Williams. I didn't mean to put you into that. I love David Roddy tonight. -10 with 0 points in 8 minutes. I love what he brought for the team that used to be in Vancouver. Conchar 8 minutes, 0 points. That's great. Luke Kennard, you love what Luke Kennard brings to this team. -17, 2 points in 19 minutes, 0 for 4 from 3. Beautiful, just beautiful team, beautiful game. I love it. I was looking for John Morant's dad. I couldn't find him in this one. He's usually sitting in the front row. I made a video about him and Nav being buddies, Nav Bhatia and John Morant kind of hanging out and stuff. His name's T Morant. He's an interesting character, but a lot of people really like John Morant. He's a very popular player in the NBA. You see a lot of the jerseys. I love the other thing that I just love about this team that remains unnamed. Their jerseys are just so fucking ugly. Like, just ass. I mean, this is what you used to have. This is what you could have. Is that coming through? This is what you threw away for some stupid fucking FedEx bullshit, some stupid like MEM lines, and just dog shit jerseys. Dog shit. Anybody who has any like fashion sense who likes the Grizzlies always wears the Vancouver Grizzlies. The classic teal, sometimes the white, but the classic teal just hits, just like the classic Raptors jersey hits. But the branding department, they like the owl and the gas station. So I'll never understand it. But then again, I'm not a fucking graphic designer. I mean, look at that. You got, what is that, Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Look at the teal. It's not really coming through with the light, but you get what I mean. You've seen the old Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys. We got potential Raptor moment here. Video. Desmond Bane doing like a 5-finger death punch. I think it was to Quickley, and then it was to Barrett. It was to RJ Barrett. He tried to fuck with RJ Barrett, and then it was this weird like Kill Bill shit. I was like, wow, Desmond Bane, okay. And then RJ Barrett, like, he was kind of like flustered a little bit, but then went right back, got a really nice kind of heavy dunk in transition, and you could tell he was, kind of emotional about the whole thing. He plays with a lot of emotion, kind of like a Marcus Smart, just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Like, he can spin, he can finish at the rim, he can score. So he's kind of different than Marcus Smart, but he has the same kind of like, gritty attitude. Grit and grind. The Grizzlies, they like to grit and grind. They don't really like offense or whatever. But also the guy who stole the Grizzlies died a few years ago. Michael Isley. He promised that he wouldn't move the team. The Vancouver-Seattle thing is pretty similar, the way those things shook down within a 7-year window. So, yeah, he promised that he wouldn't move it, and then he moved them to Memphis, and then he died, and then they never won anything. So that's the team that used to be in Vancouver. I'm not bitter about it, though, at all. Schroeder and Barrett have kind of nice chemistry. I don't know if people saw that, but there was some really nice passes. Dennis finding Barrett for 3, and the two of them have a nice little chemistry. And then Scotty and Quickley have a nice chemistry. And for me, not that anybody cares, but I've said this on before. We got a picture. Vancouver Grizzlies picture here somewhere. I was in the I won this shirt. This is autographed by all the Vancouver Grizzlies. I don't know if it's 97 or 98. I need to inspect it, but I won this big ass competition. I won courtside seats as well, and it was a free throw competition at the old Rogers Arena, and yeah, it wasn't at halftime, but I think it was like before a game or something. but they had like, it was like a whole British Columbia, competition type of thing. And you'd have to win. There was like rounds, like you had to make it there. You had to make it to the arena. So you had to go into these like tournament competitions. And I went to one in Richmond at Lansdowne Mall, and it was a sports store that had like half a basketball court. Like, it was really cool. And so I won whatever thing there, and then I got to go to Rogers Arena, and then I won the free throw competition in the stadium, the Vancouver Junior Grizzlies free throw competition. Won the Grizzlies were my whole life growing up. That's why I fucking hate this team that they are now, and I hope they continue to never win anything and continue to have stupid fucking players on their team. And so anyways, yeah, not bitter at all, but this is autographed by everybody on the Vancouver Grizzlies, which was basically my entire childhood. The only stable thing in my entire childhood, and then it was stolen away from me in a genius capitalism move by David Stern, moving teams out of Vancouver and Seattle, where the economies have just absolutely boomed. Average house in Vancouver is about $29 million to buy a little shack here. Actually, it's like $2.1 million. In Memphis, it's $137,000. So yeah, great move, great capitalism move, going to a tiny ass economy like that, same as OKC. When you left this burgeoning fucking thing, really, really big brain move by the late great David Stern, R.I.P. but not really. Also Michael Isley, R.I.P. but not really. I'm not bitter at all, but yeah, great. They're one win away from the pizza party now. So it's these are exciting. These are exciting times. And
when you left
you really like, or I really like the like energy that Quickley plays with. He hit the. He's going down. He's like waving. We saw him high-fiving the first row the other game. That could be a potential video coming up. And it's just fun because Scotty plays that way sometimes, but Scotty is also very like he's hype and everything, but I like how Quickley he's like literally just like skipping up and down the floor, and like, that's a cool cat. There's a Persian cat behind me. And just very jaunty, just it's fun. Like he plays with this joy. And then Barrett kind of plays more with like the Scotty kind of mode, where he's just kind of in killer mode. And so both of those are great approaches. It's just that I don't think the Raptors have had a Quickley type personality wise in like can't even really remember who else is kind of played like that, running him down the floor, skipping, high-fiving fans in the front row. Like, it's cool. And to me, it shows that he has a ton of confidence. And if he's going to make the jump that, the organization is kind of betting on, that's a really good personality type, especially for an undersized guard. I think you don't have to, but it's really good to have that kind of attitude and that joy that he plays with. And it's just fun to watch. It's aesthetically pleasing. Oh my God, I've complained a lot this year and last year. Like last year, I would, after a Raptor game, I would turn on like a random hockey game and I would get motion sickness because they were just like moving so quickly. I was just so used to just like, just so fucking slow. And finally, they're playing with a lot more pace, and Dennis plays with more pace than they had before. But now you add Quickley to it. Great name too, Quickley for a quick guard. Can't say I'm like a huge Quickley nerd, but I have always liked him. Like I grew up a Knick fan, regardless of I knew like deep down I knew the Vancouver Grizzlies like sucked. Like I loved them. Like I loved them. He used to have my birthday parties there, $13 tickets. I know in Memphis now they're $3 tickets, but I used to get $13 tickets. By the way, Memphis Grizzlies 27th in attendance. I don't know if I mentioned that off the top. 27th in attendance, Memphis Grizzlies. A lot of empty seats tonight. A lot of empty seats in the lower bowl. Saw a lot of blue velvet on my screen. A lot of shiny blue velvet. Not a lot of people showing up to these games. Again, Vancouver was around 16th to 20th in the NBA in attendance with a dog shit team. There was no John Morant. There was no Desmond Bane. There was no Triple J. There was Bryant Reeves. Bryant Reeves. That's who we fucking paid to go see, Bryant Reeves, and you stole it. You stole it from us. R.I.P. Michael Isley. I'm sure you're in a beautiful, heavenly place atop Memphis or something. Is that how it works? Is that how heaven works? You just go to the fucking place. I could just imagine him, because Memphis has that weird triangle building with the light, kind of like the Luxor in Vegas. I just imagine him just being like, just shot up into outer space. Yeah, he died, so not bitter at all. But yeah, saw a lot of empty seats there, and so haha NBA, haha. You got all these exciting players, but you're 27th in attendance. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. And the only cool jerseys are Vancouver, and you don't even have any Grizzlies. There's no Grizzlies in fucking Memphis, just like there's no Jazz in Utah. But at least that kind of works somehow, some weird way that works. Memphis Grizz or fuck, did I say it? I should never say the two together. I try not to ever, I think I did though accidentally. But yeah, this is a new brand, you know. And I've complained before how it's slow, it's sluggish. I was this short, you know, stubby little point guard when I was a kid, so I've always gravitated towards smaller guards. Just watching, not necessarily even smaller guards. Like I love watching Scotty, obviously. Love watching Halliburton. He's not small, but just, you know, that quick, you know, downhill explosion, 3-point shooting. Like that's the type of stuff that I enjoy watching. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. I don't think that's like a hot take. I think it's pretty much just like my high school coach who didn't like it, and Masai up until a few weeks ago. They were kind of on the same page. So yeah, what did you guys? What do people think? What do people think of the games or the game? Let me know in the chat, and I'll read those pretty soon. Anything happen in the pregame? Oh yeah, we had Marcus Smart and Jakob a little bit. 9 minutes into the third quarter, they were getting into it a little bit. I again, Marcus Smart, one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. It's a great, not a great video I made, but a great topic, a video I made of Marcus Smart. Just his ass just fucking leaks. Like it's wild. I said on Twitter, like, you know, I retweeted, define Oralist, and it's Marcus Smart without Boston. I mean, his ass just fucking, it's wild. It drips like like fucking Victoria Falls. And he just was like, just got the floor like a slip and slide, and then slipped on it, and then just got super pissed. And then there was Grant Williams. It's a great video. And Grant Williams comes out and he's like rubbing the floor. And then Marcus Smart's just like yelling at everybody and trying to get into fights. So yeah, I love that him and Ja are on the same team. It's just great. People in the chat talking about OG Anunoby. That's great, guys. That's fucking, again, the chat giveth and the chat taketh away. I'll read those in a sec. People usually bail when I start reading the chat messages, and it's probably because people are putting up whatever OG Anunoby did. I mean, maybe we'll talk about that later. But that's really what you guys are the frequency that you guys are vibrating on right now. That's cool, man. That's awesome. CH says Grizzlies left 23 years ago. Brow. BRAU. Okay, cool. OG got a plus 35. RJ had a great 3 quarters. Precious will be lucky to play 3 quarters, says Arbitar. More OG. The bomb names. Yeah, Fat Man or the Blob and Fat Man or something. Small Boy. Love that Darko was messing up and giving IQ run from the jump. Little Boy and Fat Man. That's I think what the bombs were called. Thanks for clearing that up, everybody. Vegan Grass is show and tell today. I guess with the thing about the making the point that the Grizzlies, it was 23 years ago. I don't know. Did you grow up with like a lot of childhood trauma and stuff? And did you have something that was like your consistent thing that you, did kind of every day? And thought about every day and played in, all the summer camps. I spent all my summers at the Vancouver Junior Grizzlies headquarters in Richmond, BC. Used to put on Sharif and Big Country's shoes. Used to go to a bunch of the games. I had a Steve Nash connection, so I used to be able to hang out in the locker room sometimes when Nash would come on the Mavs and play the Grizzlies. So I lost all that. I lost all of that, Mr. CH. By the way, I thought we were cool because you went to Bogota and we were talking about Bogota, but you've been a fucking dick to me in the chat for the last few times, so I'm kind of sick of you, CH, by the way. So maybe you go find another fucking show and don't be an asshole to me, okay, buddy? Especially on a night like tonight, Mr. CH. By the way, Medellin is better than Bogota. I'm sorry. Also, your comments on my videos are really boring. I'm just telling you. You're like a really boring person. I lost all of that, Mr. CH. By the way, I thought we were cool because you went to Bogota and we were talking about Bogota. Let me hear that again. People cook CH in the chat. He's got the he makes the most boring. It's like a hand over a coffee or something, or like a veg or a fruit. But yeah, he'll comment on my videos trying to riff, but it's just really cringe and really boring. Not even cringe, just boring. He's just a bore. So yeah, that's my thoughts on CH. Just go find somebody else. Seriously. This show sucks, by the way. Why is anybody watching this? I mean, last show it went 3.5 hours. It started talking about Vietnam and Thailand and Chiang Mai and all that stuff. So a couple more cards here. We got Byron Scott, Vancouver Grizzlies rookie card. He was in the expansion draft. He was in the Vancouver Grizzlies expansion draft, and he didn't play that well for Vancouver. I remember it was kind of a bit of a disappointment. I think he's like a broadcaster now. CH, is it weird that I still have these? Is it weird that I still have these cards? Should I get rid of them? Should I lose my identity? TZ says, pray I never get cooked like CH. Don't be boring like him. He's so boring. So boring. There's certain people who comment on a lot of the YouTube videos that I just kind of remember, and I'm like, oh God, either points out the most obvious thing in the world, just so obvious, just something that somebody who maybe watches 2 basketball games a year would point out, tries to be funny but isn't, says weird shit about he said some weird shit about Bogota, some women in Colombia about getting married or something, and just a really uninteresting fucking person. CH stands for crusty hussy. CH is worse than Heisley. Exactly. Z shrugs. Quickley's jumper is beautiful. Really gets his legs into the shot. Yeah, it's really quick too. I mean, so many puns with quick. It's kind of funny because everybody makes, not everybody, but people make the Tyrese Maxey comparisons, and it's not that it's lazy, but it's a big jump for him. But play style is similar in a way. Maybe he doesn't quite have the explosion yet, but the mechanics are kind of similar too on the shot. What I notice about, I don't notice his legs as much. What I really notice is his tricep extension on his shot. And he really gets a lot from the extension. There's not a lot of push action. He's not getting his chest into the shot a lot, which you just see a lot of more undersized players, I feel do that more. It comes more from a chest thing. I don't know how the best way to a pushing motion, but he's really got a nice snap, and you get that snap from extending. It's basically doing an overhead tricep extension with a wrist snap, and it's just a way more accurate way to shoot. And his, Jack said on the broadcast, his mechanics are great. They're, if you're, Nick Nurse and you've got a shooting program, what are your mechanics CH? You got good mechanics? Post the video sometime of you playing hoops. I'd love to see that. But yeah, his mechanics are pretty flawless. I mean, it's really pretty to watch, and it's not the highest release point, but I actually kind of like that in a way because it's quicker to get off. And when you've got deep range like that, you'll notice a lot of the players who, the Steph Currys, the Damian Lillards, like they're not releasing it way up here. It's a bit of a lower release. It's easier to shoot from far that way. It's just better angle. It's like when a soccer goalie kicks it really far, it usually kind of starts low and then kind of tails upwards. It doesn't, you don't bomb it up high that quickly. Yeah, it's rejuvenated the team more than I thought it. I didn't think it would necessarily that this would happen this quick. Fuck, I gotta stop saying that. I didn't know it would happen this fast. I didn't think that the integration would create just two back-to-back wins like this. So, I know not only wins, but like, fun games. We got another Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Now this is a later one. You can see he's in the black jersey, which I think did Memphis. Does anybody know? I feel like they tried to do the black jersey one once. Like that's the one that they kind of brought with them to Memphis, is that kind of black and teal. I think the Grizzlies switched to this. Is it okay that I know this is 23 years ago? Is this okay that I talk about this? I know it's 23 years ago. I know it's longer. The Beatles. The Beatles. That was the 60s. What are you talking about the Beatles for? Alfred Hitchcock. That's from the 1960s. Like, what? That was 23 years ago. CH. What are we doing, CH? What's going on here, man? Sharif Abdur-Rahim in the black. What do you guys think about the black jerseys? I think they went around to those in 2000, 2001, kind of at the tail end. We got another, a second autographed Big Country, Brian Reeves. I wore his shoes once. They were size 19s. They smelled really bad. I remember that. Because their practice facility is where I did my summer camps every year. And so, at lunchtime, we could, I don't think it was at lunchtime, but like we could fuck around a little bit with the coaches, like with the camp coaches and stuff. And we could like try on the players' shoes and like, I don't know if we tried on like their underwear or anything, but definitely their shoes. I don't know if we tried on their socks. We got another Sharif Abdur-Rahim. This is in the white, the whites. I think the white shorts, I think the white shorts are really nice. What's your guys' favorite? We got Lawrence Moten. I don't remember this guy, but that's the beautiful teal jersey. Yeah, we got lots of Grizzlies cards here. I don't know why this guy was one of my favorites. Lee Mayberry. Anybody remember Lee Mayberry? He rocked a number 11. I used to always like Lee Mayberry. But yeah, the Vancouver Grizzlies weren't very good. I think CH has left. I think CH might have tapped out. I think we lost CH. Yeah, tough. It's just so dull, just so boring. CH, man. OG3 says, I imagine CH gets his mechanics coached by the basketball maven. Okay. Oh, we need to get that person back. The basketball maven. That was a classic. They just came once or twice and just bombed the chat with lots of stuff about mechanics that didn't make any sense, but they're a maven. So I actually didn't know what a maven was. I had to look it up. It's like an expert or something. It's cool. These were my favorite cards as a kid. This collection. I don't know if it's going to show up on the webcam, but these are holographic. Look at the waterfall behind him. This is another Sharif Abdur-Rahim one. It's not quite. I got the whole, I got the whole set. I used to have thousands of basketball cards. I still have a few hundred of them, but I used to have like thousands. I used to get OPG tops. I know this is 23 years ago. I don't know if I'm allowed. 23 years ago. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but it was 23 years ago. But I used to get tops, OPG. Yeah, but these were like the holographics. I think these were like worth something, but I don't really care about that. We got Sharif Abdur-Rahim rookie card in case 1996. They used to come to our schools as well. They're like Vancouver Grizzlies reading program. And I had a family connection with Steve Nash, and basketball BC is pretty tight. So the family my sister married into was tight with Steve Nash. And this is 23 years ago. Steve Nash retired a while ago, so I apologize if 23 is too much of a, if that's too much of a time gap to discuss, to talk anything about. Just what is the cutoff, by the way? What's the oldest you can go back on, like culture, music, movies, events? Like how far back can we go? What's the cutoff? But back then, so the family my sister married into, one of the brothers was friends with Steve Nash. So like my sister's husband brother was like really tight with Steve Nash. So the mom like was a really good sewer. I don't know, I want to say like a famous sewer, but really good sewer. So she would sew a lot of the Grizzlies gear and like toques and stuff and like random shit. So they would come over to the house, and Sharif Abdur-Rahim, it's 23 years ago, played Connect 4. Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Remember the Connect 4? 23 years ago. It was 23 years ago. But really just a lot of memories, man. It's honestly like, it still fucking really bugs me. And the Sonics too. Like I'm equally as pissed about the Sonics, because like after the Grizzlies left, I got really into the Sonics, as a bunch of people here did. Like we used to go down on buses, like the basketball BC like crew. We used to go on these huge ass like Greyhound buses, and we'd be in Key Arena, an old Key Arena with the brown leather seats, 23 years ago. And, got to see Kevin Durant, Rashard Lewis, all those people. And then during the pandemic, I got really into the 96 Sonics. I'm 96. That's a really long, how many years ago is 96? That's like 27 years, 26, 27 years. That's even more than that, I think. So I don't know if I should get into that. I don't know if people. We got another Bryant Reeves. Are the cards still like this? With different holographics and shit. I used to memorize like all the stats. That was a long time ago, 23 years ago. I used to remember all the stats on these, and I would be like a party trick at like Christmas and Thanksgiving. They'd be like Lee Mayberry, how many assists? And it'd be like, I would just know. I wouldn't have to get the card. CH, hey, it's Will Lou's burner accounts. Is that you, Will Lou, or is that your lackey? This is CH. You spent 18 minutes coming up with that. Is this Will Lou's burner accounts? Will Lou is an investor in Raptor Moments. I don't know if people know this, but we know each other from Etobicoke. And yeah, he owns like 33% of Raptor Moments. So pretty excited about that. The first time we ever, or actually, not the first time, but if we've known each other for all those years, just messaged me like out of the blue one day being like, hey, Christian Coloco, watch one of your videos. It's a pretty wild DM to get when you're like a loser in a bedroom. I remember I was having like a really bad day. It was the Coloco getting into the fight with Caleb Martin. Classic. But yes, the Will Lou burner accounts are cooking you. That's Robert Reiger says, defend yourself. Yeah, come on, CH. You gotta defend yourself. I mean, you're in the hot seat right now. Ryokishin at 187. Living in Alberta, seeing the Grizzlies and Supersonics leave fucking sucked. The only team near us. I mean, man, yeah, Alberta. That's cool that people in Alberta were like feeling the Grizzlies. It's tough. Like players, there was one player, Michael Dickerson. Cool, great name. He's from Seattle, I think, or Portland, and he loved the city, but like everybody else was like complaining or like the weather or whatever, which I don't know. Whenever I go to like, not that I love Vancouver, whenever I go to Asia or like South America or whatever, and people are like, oh wow, Vancouver, it's so amazing. And then NBA players are like, man, it sucks here. But I don't know, it was Memphis. I really like Memphis rap. So that's like the weirdest thing to me is like Memphis rap is like probably my favorite genre of rap, but I also like just hate the Memphis GRIZZZZLEIS. So I'm very torn on the city of Memphis. On one hand, just a great rap scene that burgeoned into funk and cloud rap, and it's just a huge influence. And some of the best stuff in that genre is coming out of like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. They're doing their own take on Memphis rap. Kato Shoma is kind of like the top person or whatever, but like Roland Jones from Ukraine's amazing. Yeah, so Memphis rap's great, but the team there and OKC, I can't. CH says, hey, Walu, when you get a flat tire, do you phone your grandma for help? Does she call AMA for you? I'm your sister's boyfriend. I told you, this is like the most boring person ever. They try to riff and they try to be like funny or whatever, but the only thing cool about them is they went to Bogota, which I respect. But other than that, it's a lot of misses. It's a lot of L's. Gotta be honest. CH, you gotta step up your game, says 3 Design. And I agree. We got Kenny Gattinson. Kenny with the Gat. Vancouver Grizzlies. Mouth open. Love it. I like these ones, the tops. Just the big ass graphic. Like that's fucking sick. Kenny Gat. And now we got this is an interesting one. So this is a double card. I don't really understand why, but it's Sharif Abdurrahim and Mike Bibby, who I met at Oak Ridge Mall once, and he's really jacked now. He's like what like when they talk about Grady Dick getting into a strength program, just Google Mike Bibby. That's probably would be the upper ceilings of what a Grady Dick strengthening will be. I mean, you send Grady Dick to me. I got lots of old buddies from Alcoholics Anonymous that take a bunch of stuff that could get you looking like Dolph Lundgren in 1-2 weeks. Just really puffed out. Get you some Red Bull, get you some cigarettes. Just hook you up. I think I went to an AA meeting in Bogota. No, I didn't. But I'm here in beautiful Times Square. The scene of a field trip that I went to once. Anybody else been to Times Square? Once I stayed at the Novotel. TZ says, Bibby on to juice. Bibby might be hanging out with some of my old AA buddies. Potentially. He looks pretty juiced. Kenny Gattinson. I like that name though. But yeah, what did you guys think of the game? I mean, I think an underrated aspect of all this is pushing Dennis to the bench. I just think he's like so much more effective and actually played pretty well. What do you guys think about him closing games? I'm kind of mixed on that. Like, I think at sometimes his usage cranks a little bit and he gets kind of aggressive in times that he shouldn't. But like tonight, he had a really smart play where he kind of held it and then waited for the defense to shift a bit. And then he had an open lane and he just took it and got an open layup. And I feel like he gets those not more often than not, but like more than you would expect late in games where he just kind of sneaks in for an easy bucket. But also, it's like, do you want him in the game in kind of these closing moments? Darko obviously really trusts him. Sometimes I'm kind of, and again, his thing with Quickley was kind of strange. I talked about that off the top, but like him and Quickley just not knowing they pretend like they don't know. They're like, but they obviously both want to be bringing the ball up. They're both like a, point guard, essentially. So having those two guys out closing games, that's going to be, a conversation, I think. It's just, I guess, the first time they've closed a game together. I don't think, did they close together last game? Obviously, there's going to be, a lot of takes time. Takes 23 years sometimes to, familiarize yourself with things. But again, I think the impact of these new guys is hitting faster than we may have expected. And did anybody else feel this during the game where, again, the runs that, like, Memphis went on 3 runs and 2.5 of them Quickley was on the bench, and he led the lean. THC, oh my God, THC oil. It took probably took a little bit too much. He was on the bench for 2.5 of them. So second quarter and third quarter, with kind of the end of the second, end of the third, Memphis really kind of, came back, and it's when he was on the bench. And you can just kind of feel the energy go down a bit when he's on the bench. But in terms of your more familiar Raptors, great game from Pascal as well. He was aggressive. He was 9 for 14. The 3-ball 1 for 2. What I like about he had the 5 for 8 game, but I feel like he's dialed back the 3 and it's getting more efficient. So that's been a great development. And again, he continues to have better mechanics on the 3, more similar to how he shoots in the mid-range, feels more natural, and he's not hunting it. Like, remember earlier in the season, and I think that's, it's been pretty well documented that, I feel like some people haven't quite come out and said it, but they've hinted at it, of how Masai may have gotten involved in being like, hey, maybe play Pascal 40 minutes once in a while. And it's kind of been upticking that way. But I think earlier in the season, when he wasn't getting the type of usage or attempts or feel that he's used to, I feel like that's when he was jacking the 3s up, like especially during that, it was November or December, one of the months. He was like 9% from 3, and so many of them were just like him hunting. And him hunting with 18 seconds in the shot clock, completely throwing off the rhythm of the offense. And he's not doing that at all anymore. Like, the 3s he's taking are more in rhythm. He's not hunting it, and they're going in a lot more. And the mechanics look different. So yeah, he continues to just be playing a lot better. If you kind of split, we're 33 games in, if you split the first half or the second half, it's been a lot better. And honestly, part of that is coaching. I think it's been pretty public. Like, Darko has gotten better, I think, in general, but it was pretty rough at the start. And it felt kind of obvious that they wanted to get away from everything that had previously made them at least somewhat successful and try this completely newer type of thing, which works in spurts. But when you have the talent that you have, I think they're starting to more so find that middle ground. And I think the conversations about Scottie, Pascal not working are kind of going away a bit. Not to say that they're not going to trade Pascal or that they shouldn't trade Pascal. I'm not saying that at all. But I think that the conversation has shifted away from that into more, and I've talked about this too, how maybe it's just more retaining talent and getting rid of everything around it and seeing if you can bring in shooters. And honestly, like, on that tip, like, if you've got Quickley, Barrett, Pascal, and Scottie, that's a pretty good, like, defensive floor. I'm not saying they're going to keep this thing together, but I think you could rationalize keeping that and then kind of cutting the rest. Although Jakob has been a lot more effective. And I think that's, a big part why they made the trade when they did, is to evaluate, this is a huge season this is massive. This is a massive year for the FO. whether it's the deadline or, I mean, December 30th or the deadline or the off season. I mean, this really is the year that things have to get figured out. And I kind of chewed on in the past, like, will they be afraid to trade Pascal and OG because they don't want to, quote unquote, like lose a trade? I mean, that has kind of gone out the window. So that's a huge relief. That was more of a me being paranoid, taking a couple too many oil drops and being paranoid about it. But I think we've seen that's not really going to be the case. So that's refreshing to see. Evan McCarty, CHP getting up at the crack of dawn every day to make super mid comments. People want to ban him. Alex Wong knows things from his years hanging around that dude with the chicken wing sauce stains on his undershirt. Okay, I don't even know what that means. CH is washed as a Robert Reiger. I guess apologies to anybody listening to this who like doesn't see the chat on the side, but yeah, CH. I mean, shouts to CH for still hanging around, still watching. But yeah, what did you do in Bogota? What were you there for? I need to know. Were you there when the bomb went off? I was there. I just missed the bomb going off in 20. There's like a bomb that went off in Bogota. I think it killed like 25 people or something. It was in 2019. I missed that by a couple weeks or so. But yeah, this huge bomb went off in the middle of the city. I think at the police headquarters. I thought Gary had a really bad travel call against him. Like I even wanted to find that clip and post it and cry about it. But so at 4:27 of the first quarter, he kind of did his like plantar fasciitis hop, and then he looked like he hurt his ankle too, or his plantar fasciitis. I mean, I rock the socks on all these shows. I'm standing up wearing plantar fasciitis socks, holding this microphone's got to be 14 pounds. Like it's not comfortable to hold. I'm not. The second these things are over, I'm like falling over, opening the window, drinking water, like wondering why am I doing this. Just getting dunked on by CH, disregarding and devaluing my childhood experience and my cognitive reality. Did I show this one? We got George Lynch, number 30, number 34. He's in the whites. I love these I know a lot of people don't like them. It's not really showing up, but those Rockets jerseys with the pinstripes, I really like those. I really like those, and I really like the 80s and 90s early Rockets ones with the McDonald's colors, and then the 2000s ones with the red, like the Tracy McGrady one that everybody kind of knows. That's like my least favorite jersey of all time, I think. But yeah, Sharif, he's the president of the G League now. He was on the Raptors show. What do you guys think Blake Murphy sent me, by the way? I'm nervous to open it now. Maybe I shouldn't reveal that. Maybe that's like private information. I wouldn't say what's inside of it, but I just got the little notification and kind of panicked a little bit during the game. It might be does he know my assassination coordinates? What are we at? An hour and 8 minutes. How did I hit 3.5 the last time? 3.5 hours, by the way, last stream. I think that's pretty much it from the game. I watched George Stevens back to Lord of the Rings. I think Quickley is Legolas and Barrett is Gimli. So my sleep schedule got fucked by the firework. I fucking hate fireworks so much. I'm still reeling over this. And so I watched Return of the King yesterday. Not that I haven't seen it before, but I'm getting more into the lore now. Like I'm learning all about Melkor / Morgoth. And just like things just like hit harder when you know the lore. So like Shelob, the spider that twists Frodo up in the outside of Minas Morgul. They used to be Minas Ithith, something. But So the spider, Shelob, the spider's mom or dad, I think mom, brought Morgoth to Middle Earth from some other place, some other fucking Numenor, whatever bullshit. Um, so it just adds a little bit more. So it's like, and Morgoth created Sauron, or not created Sauron, but like was Sauron's like daddy, like his, like that was daddy to Sauron, and Sauron. So it just kind of makes the whole like thing. It's just like these little things that you pick up, during the lore. And now I've got the audiobook going. It's I think 112-hour long, all three audiobooks. I've found a YouTube video that's just got a really good narrator. But yeah, you notice like different things, like different lines are in different places in the book and the movie. But Quickley as Legolas is good. Cause yeah, he's got the tricep extension whip thing, kind of like an arrow, shoots from far away. Kind of has like thinner features too. So kind of that works for Legolas. I like that's a good one. And then Barrett is Gimli. It's pretty good. It's kind of tough, rugged. He's going to bump into people. But yeah, so anybody else seen Lord of the Rings? I think that's kind of it. The Toronto Raptors, they're on a have they won 2 games in a row this year? Has that happened yet? I can't really remember off the top of my head. But yeah, 2 straight W's. And the Grizzlies, anytime the Grizzlies lose, anytime the Thunder lose, part of my soul is fed. Marcel Lobb says watched it last night. Lord of the Rings. What else have I learned about Lord of the Rings? Another one is Theoden. Theo Maladon. He's like way more competent in the books, because in the movies he's kind of like he's really like he really wants to go to Helm's Deep, even though people are like that's fucking stupid. But apparently in the books he wants, because they're in Edoras, and he wants to go to some other place first, some field. But then they can't go there, so then Helm's Deep is kind of like the backup plan. And then apparently in the books there were no kids and like families and stuff, but they added that into the movies just to make it more make the stakes higher. Because in the book apparently it's just the soldiers, who battle. I thought in Return of the King, I mean, not that any of it's like supposed to be realistic, but I thought that when Sam goes into I think Sam rescues Frodo from the tower. Like, it's a little too easy in my opinion. Like, Sam just kind of like rolls up, and it's not Minas Morgul, I don't think, but I don't think it's Barad-dûr either, but like he's in a tower in Mordor. And I just feel like they could have made that a little bit harder for him to get there, or like a little bit luckier, because he just like rolls up and kills like a few orcs, but then he just like gets to the top. Frodo's up there, and Sam has the ring, and Frodo like really, really wants the ring back. Also, I didn't know that Denethor's wife died because of some like Mordor thing. There was some Mordor like gas or something, plume, that killed his wife, and then Boromir died, and then he like tried to burn Faramir alive. He was a weird character. He was a steward, obviously, so he always thought that like Aragorn and Gandalf were like working against him, and so he was always really skeptical. I think it's interesting how whoever looks into I always get Merry and Pippin mixed up. Whoever looks into the Palantir, because they really changed shit. Because then Sauron thought that they had the ring. But then what I don't understand, another thing I don't understand is like why, because the Witch King comes on one of those creature things, and he sees either Merry or Pippin, the one who looked in the Palantir, with Gandalf, and he's like about to like kill them, and then he gets like the call and just like goes away. But he's like one of Sauron's like main dudes, and wouldn't he maybe recognize like a hobbit? And I don't know, Gandalf. That was like why didn't the Witch King just chill there? It ended up being fucking stupid because he gets killed by the other guy that doesn't look at the Palantir. Marcelo, Sam was clutch. Jonathan Graves, it's a tower in Gorgoroth. Gorgoroth, great band, by the way. Black metal band. Sign of an Open Eye, good song. Yeah, one of the towers in Gorgoroth. It just feels a little too easy for them. Little too easy. I think it's really smart how I lost my train of thought. I don't know that much lore yet. Oh, another thing that's kind of crazy is, so after, I don't know like what years it was, but Aragorn spent like 30 years looking for Gollum, and then found him and like tied him, or like nailed him or tied him to like a boat or something, and they had to travel something like 900 miles or something. So I'm just imagining Aragorn having to travel with Gollum. Also, like Elrond Hubbard kind of underrated a little bit. Like, you don't realize. I just thought he was kind of a dick at first, but then you realize that he's like a lot more important. And he's been around for a while too. He's like not new to the game. So, I mean, he gives them the big tip about finding the dead guys in the cave. And when they filmed that, they actually had like, I think it was like 80,000 skulls like in the studio, and the rest was like green screen or whatever. But they actually did run through those like 80,000 skulls or whatever it was. Oh, another thing. I thought, I was thinking about doing, it would be on a separate channel. I don't think I'll ever do it. Maybe I'll do it, but I thought it would be a cool idea, is to just like do a compilation of all the poorly delivered lines. I think there are some really bad delivered lines like in the movies. I think Theoden has some really bad lines. Legolas has some really bad lines. Aragorn like doesn't really, I think there was one maybe that he delivered poorly. Another moment that bugs me is in Helm's Deep, when Theoden's like, it's over, we must, retreat, and it's over. And then Aragorn's just like, we will meet them. And then Theoden's like, yes, we will ride out. It's like, that's all it took. Like, really? That's it. So that was kind of annoying. Also, I'm working on releasing songs for every Raptor in history. So it's about 270 players in total. And I think it would be cool for the championship team to just use all Lord of the Rings samples. Like, when they light the, not the beam, what are the things called where they light everybody lights on the mountains. There's like a bell that goes off, and like that would be such a crazy snare drum. And then just using like the soundtrack to the movies is obviously crazy. And like Howard Shore, who made the soundtrack, all the themes were built on 3 notes. So like the Shire theme was built on 3 notes. The Rohan theme was built on 3 notes. The Gondor theme was built on 3 notes. I think Isengard was like the only one that was like different. It's like the da-na-na. It's in 5/4. Da-na-na. And then the Fellowship too. But it's really interesting how like obviously in the big epic moments, like I was like ode to joy, but in the big moments, you got like you got 10 French horns going, you got strings going. But in these like it's like the little in between moments that are getting really interesting to me now about how they would integrate the soundtrack. So they would just play like little bits of like the ring. Obviously, I really like when Deagle grabs for the ring and it goes up an octave. It's like that's that's a great little riff to use. But yeah, it's cool how like they would just, once you pick up on that, they would hint at like either what was happening or what was coming up with these like musical motifs. I don't know why, but I think the Kawhi Rohan works really well. Just the really simple one violin. That's my favorite version of the Rohan riff. But you could I think what would be cool is like the intro would be kind of the bigger chorus, like the bigger kind of sound. And you'd have like effects like reverb, delays and stuff, and you kind of build it all up, have some white noise, have some of the timpani drums going, and then kind of build it up. And then when you think it's going to drop, it just goes to that like just that one violin, and then it goes into the beat. I think that would be perfect. I think Surge could be the Isengard music, because it can't all be light. Like it can't. I mean, if it's going to be Lord of the Rings, like there's got to be some that are just like the evil ones. I think Surge would be great for the Isengard. That would be great. Do something heavy with that. Kyle and Fred would obviously be the Shire music. Gasol. I don't know what Gasol would be. I was trying to think about this. Maybe like a Did Gandalf have a theme? I don't think Gandalf had a theme. Gollum had a theme. Who could be the Gollum? Who would get the Gollum theme? I don't know. But yeah, I think that's like a cool idea, because I'm trying to figure out like, do I release all 270 tracks at once? Or people gonna go like, what the? I'm on the fence. It's like if you release 270 songs like on the same day and like the same like package or bundle, are people going to go like, wow, that's cool, that hasn't been done before, that's notable? Or is it like, I'm not fucking listening to all this, I'm not even going to listen to one of them? Or is it like, if I release albums, like specific albums, like the Lord of the Rings one, like these concept albums, do they get lost in just the shuffle of everything, whereas the 270 songs at once? What do you what do you think? Should I release 270 songs at once? I know Lord of the Rings, I know the movies came out 23 years ago. I think they were 2001, 2002, 2003. So those were 23 years ago. So I don't know if that's still relevant. But what do you guys think? Should I do all at once or concept albums? The Beacon of Gondor, yes. Jonathan Graves, you should do the next post-game report live from Mordor. What if they win, though? Pale Fox, Theoden has the best quotes. Who shall gather the smoke of the deadwood burning, or behold the flowing years from the sea returning? Bars. Gregory, a full composition. Embiid gets the Gollum theme. No, it's only Raptors players. So there's been 270 Raptors players. Maybe there's a way to do the Gasol Gollum with Embiid in a way, like the Marc Gasol song. Because I think the Lothlorien theme, which could be good for Gasol, that's like the really dark, like the kind of, it's almost like Gregorian chant sounding. It's really, it's like probably my favorite theme or piece from the soundtrack. And so that could be the Gasol track, but then it could transition into like an Embiid Gollum thing. But I still think Gollum is DJ Wilson, so I don't want to take that away from him. But he wasn't on the team at that time. Who else was on that team? 2019 Raptors roster. What would Danny Green be? Danny Green would be maybe one of the elf themes. Jordan Lloyd, I don't know who that is. Pat McCaw gets the actual Ring theme. The because he has 3 rings. So 3 were given to the the elves get 3. 7 to the dwarf lords. Great miners. 9 to the men. Was it 9? 3 to the elves. 7 to the dwarf lords. Great miners of something. Anyways, Valanciunas. So he wasn't on the championship team, but he was. I guess I should do all of the people. Lorenzo Brown, Chris Boucher. What would Chris Boucher be? Catapult. When they catapult the rocks, that could be that'd be a great sound effect. So you could have that as like the beat. It'd be a good kick drum. I really want to get that snare drum from the Beacon of Gondor thing, because it wasn't the Gondor one, that was another one somewhere around Rohan. That's one of my favorite scenes though. I like that. What do you guys think in terms of the movies? I think my favorite is I think I like them in reverse order. Like I think Return of the King is my favorite, Two Towers is my second favorite, Fellowship is my first or my last favorite. But it's not that I don't like it. It's just I think when I was a kid, it's 23 years ago. I think when I was a kid, I liked the first one more because they're all like together. And then I was like, why did they leave each other? Why didn't they stay together? But now I kind of get it more, I think. Another scene that I really like in the first one, kind of now that I know more about the lore, that kind of made it more interesting, is like the sword of Elendil and how Boromir just like doesn't give a fuck about it, and he's just like, he just like plays with this broken sword and was like, oh yeah, whatever, and then just like puts it back, and then Aragorn just like carefully like, puts it back together and like places it. I also realized, I think my favorite shot and my least favorite shot of any of the movies is in the same like 60 seconds. One of my favorite shot is with L. Ron Hubbard when he comes to the mountain and Aragorn, and they're like talking about getting the dead guys in the cave, and Aragorn's like, he won't answer to me or whatever. He won't answer. And then Elrond's like, but he will to the King of Gondor. And then he like opens up his shirt and he's got the sword, and they do like this slow-mo on the sword, like with the cape blowing, and it just looks so fucking sick. That's my favorite shot in any of the movies. And then 60 seconds later, they're like, they've gone through like one of the caves, and then there's these weird like, I don't even know how to describe it, like sweeping, like it's like under, and then it's just like Legolas, and then it shows like shh, and it's just like a weird camera movement that CH probably thought I was actually in New York, and they're like, what the fuck? I am, by the way. I am. That was you didn't see that. But I didn't like that. Do you guys know those shots of sweeping kind of like low camera shots, and they're just kind of like, it's almost like something out of like a bad horror movie. I just hated those shots. But I love the slow with the sword, with the Elrond. Danny Green is the elf who gets killed at Helm's Deep. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. What's that guy's name again? Wasn't he kind of a dick to them in the first one? When they go to Lorien, he's just kind of like, and then it's Galadriel who's like vibing. What else? Savannah Hamilton's mom still follows me on Twitter. Just another update. Keeping that update. Raptor Moments head. Big time into the Raptor Moments lore. I mean, I don't know, but I like to. I mean, I did insinuate that her daughter was Jeffrey Dahmer in one video, so it continues to be one of my favorite storylines in the lore. Julian, to be honest, I don't think the Rockets have had a good jersey since. I hear the late 90s pinstripe Rockets jerseys get a lot of hate, but I legit like them too. Yeah, the Rockets have not had good jerseys since then. I feel like I remember around the bubble time, like the Westbrook era, which is really funny to think about. They rocked the old 80s ones like more often. I in my head I remember like in the bubble. I think the Rockets were like my favorite team in the bubble. I just liked was it Ben McLemore? Was that the rapper guy? Is he even a rapper? Was it Macklemore and like Lewis Ryan or something? I think they're from Seattle. They made that thrift store song that sucked. It's a different. That's different than the Macklemore that was on the Rockets though. But they were a fun team. You know, they're a bunch of 6'6" guys that shot threes, and then maybe they influenced Vision 6'9", except they went with 6'9" and can't shoot instead of 6'6" and can't shoot. Phoenix Plays says, Mr. Weed Man. You think the Raptors should prioritize picks in a Pascal trade or actual players? I think both. Like there was that report saying that they want 2 picks and 2 players. I don't think the team is really like. I think you want to replenish your little bit of your draft capital. I think they're a bit negative on the. Their own picks moving forward. Not crazy negative, but a little bit. So replenishing that a little bit. But then also getting a couple players. I mean, everybody's already said this, but I think it makes more sense to extend them and then trade them. The other team. Well, cool cat. Oh, damn. I missed the cat. Maybe the cat will come back again. It's a Persian cat. I'm going to get out of the way. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's it. That's all you show of the cat. I don't give a fuck about the guy and the stupid fucking Samsung. Not a sponsor of this program. Show me the cat. Give me the cat, man. Persian cat. Oh, one of the there was a queen of Gondor so she was like way back in the day. She became a queen of Gondor, and her whole thing was she had 9 cats, and 8 of them were black and 1 was white. And the black cats she would send out and they would spy on everybody, and then the white cat would spy on the black cats, and then so she would have meetings with the black cats and meetings with the white cat. And so she was a queen of Gondor. I don't know if they were Persian cats though. I never liked Persian cats until I met a few in Thailand and figured out they were pretty cool. But Pascal Siakam trade. I don't know. Also, Mr. Weed Man. There used to be a company back in the day that did landscaping back when weed was like. Remember when weed was like taboo, or like you'd have to like go hide behind like a dumpster. Like you'd have like you go to the club. Remember like going to the club with like a 2.6 of Jack or Jaeger, and you put like get 2 water bottles and you put half the 2.6 in one, half the 2.6 in the other, and you drink the one on the train there. And then when you get to the club, you go behind and you put the other water bottle behind a dumpster behind the club. And then you go into the club and before you say hi to anybody or do a coat check or anything, you order 2 double rum and cokes, because that's like the most you can order, I think, from one person at once. 2 double rum and cokes. You dome those down, and then you go out behind the dumpster with the bottle of usually Sailor Jerry's or Jaeger, and then that's where you smoke. You got to smoke your weed too. So you'd crouch down. I know everybody used to do this, right? And weed was really taboo, so you'd have to like, it's like 2008. I mean, it was 23 years ago. Not quite, maybe 20 years ago. You'd have to like crouch down. 15 years ago, you'd have to crouch down behind the dumpster or around like like get behind a door within an alley, and then you kind of smoke in there, drink your water bottle, and it would be a water bottle too. So it would be really. There's one time where, because it's so much better to do that than with beer, because I remember with beer one time I was on the train, got to downtown, and there was like transit security, and I was holding a beer, and so I like put it next to a garbage can, like getting off the train, just like kind of like, oh, just gonna put this down here, and then I keep walking, and then and there was probably like half a beer left maybe, and so we go like around the platform, go up the stairs, and I walked like 4 or 5 blocks down Granville Street. Any Vancouver nerds? And it just hit me like, hey, I left half a beer. So I went back to get the half a beer, and then ran back up the stairs, back onto Granville Street, walking down Granville Street with my half beer that I basically just chugged. And right as I chugged it, cop. So $2.50 open liquor ticket after almost getting caught for the trans. That was that one beer was like a very highly contested beer. And that's why you usually go for the hard liquor, the water bottle. I guess you could put beer in a water bottle, but then you've got to get like 23 water bottles or something. So it's just better with hard liquor. Pascal Siakam trade. Vegan grass. Top 3 cat colors. Definitely orange. Number 1 for me. I really like calico cats. Had a calico cat in Thailand. They just kind of gave it to me. It's like the shaman's cat. Used to sleep on my motorbike. It was really chubby. It's the cat in the end of the Raptor Ones videos. This season. It's a calico cat. That was the cat that like literally named it Big Cat. And the shamans just like gave it to me to take care of as I lived in their house for free. It's great setup. So calico would be up there. I don't know if that's a color. Then I don't know. It's a big drop off for me, to be honest. It's hard to even put a third. Like tabby's kind of a hack answer. But yeah, orange number 1, calico number 2, and then they're all the same after that for me. I love like a dumb orange cat. Like there's nothing I like more than like a dumb, chunky, ditzy orange cat. Like there's nothing better than that in my opinion. Hussein Dodd, Granville Street. Remember those days downtown Vancouver's foodie's paradise? Granville Street is not a paradise for any. Granville Street should not be viewed as a paradise. I don't think. But hey, I mean, everybody's got their thing. You know, you got a lot of good dumpsters. Granville Street, you know, good for hiding alcohol, water bottles filled with Jägermeister behind. Good weed smoking. You got the spoon man, or just spoons playing the spoons, getting money. You got the guy with the boat, the cardboard boat, putting up the fishing line to get some bills, and 8 million drunk teenagers from the suburbs. So yeah, just lovely place, lovely culture. Literally the culture capital of Vancouver. I'm not even really being sarcastic. There really isn't a ton of that. My area is like 97% Asian, so I'm kind of like sheltered. They shelter me from all the cringe aspects of Vancouver. Like I don't have any of the Granville Street, the Equinox, or like my place is all just like pho. We got Chinese grandmas with crazy drip. Like I'm not just wild, like crazy colors, crazy fits. Like they were ahead of the trend. Like I feel like Gen Z people try to dress like that nowadays. Like they're on it. And so yeah, I'm far away from all the super cringe aspects of Vancouver. But hey, if you're into nightclubs and people from the suburbs. Hussein Dodd. Last season I watched was the one and we won the championship. Trying to get back into this year. You haven't watched since the championship. Wow. Interesting. That was, I mean, apologies. I'm kind of kind of winding down the last post game show was 3 hours and 36 minutes. I don't know if we're gonna be able to I don't know if we're gonna be able to hit that. But yeah, just go back to the beginning of the video. Cause yeah, at this point I'm just kind of rambling. Anybody else? Devin Smith, DeAr DeRozan is a Nazgul. It's good. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, that's perfect because the scream, like the Nazgul's scream is brutal. Like the screech. Like if you watch Lord of the Rings on headphones, it's like really quiet dialogue, and then the Nazgul is just like fuck, that's loud. It's a great sound effect too. That would be a great sound effect. You could have both. Yeah, you could have her screaming with the Nazgul screaming. You could route them to like their own bus effect, and then you'd put like some reverb, probably like a pattern. What's it called? The thing I use. Monochrome pattern, whatever. Just like kind of generates. I like to do through compression. I like to create patterns through compression. That's very like gives you that Flying Lotus Jay Dilla sound when instead of like 8th note patterns or 16th notes patterns or like note patterns even, it's like you're creating a pattern out of sidechain compression essentially. I don't even know if it's sidechain, but like close to or almost side. I don't know if it's technically side. Some music nerds will be like, "Oh, you're not rerouting the inputs and then, changing the ratio, but you are basically doing so like you could do some compression stuff with that, and then you could really glue her screaming with the Nazgul sound together, cake it in reverb, and then dynamically you could have that kind of be like a really big sound and then just kind of squeeze it into something tighter. But yeah, I think that'd be a cool project to do. Speaking of someone who just said they watched the championship season, I'm just talking about how I'm working on 270 songs right now, one for each Raptor in history, and I think it would be sweet to just release like a Lord of the Rings based one for the championship team. So each player has their own track, and using sounds from Lord of the Rings soundtrack, sound effects, some really good like Mordor sounds, like the "I see you." It's good shit. That's like my favorite scene of any of the movies is when he looks, because that's probably something like I would want to do or be like. I don't know if I would take it like, because he takes it out of Gandalf's like hands as he's sleeping and then puts in the little water canister tub thing. I think that's pretty sketchy. I don't know if I'd go that far. But it's kind of horrifying. That scene's kind of horrifying because it's like relatable in a way. Like he's just really curious. And he's like, "He hurt me." Gandalf's like, "What did you see?" To Minas Tirith. Razor Bob, are you from Maryland? Drove through it once. Drove through Baltimore, like not through it, but like on the highway. Saw a little bit of Baltimore. Drove through it's another place in Maryland. What are other places in Maryland? I think Quickley's from Maryland. Quickley's from like Havre de Grace. Any Cumtown fans here? Obviously Tom Myers from Hello Havre de Grace. It's so funny. What, you have a bong hit transplant? What else is in Maryland? You got Baltimore. DC's its own thing. I went to DC. I saw the Big Dick statue thing. That was pretty cool. Saw the Lincoln Memorial. I didn't talk to it. I think some people talked to the Lincoln Memorial. I didn't talk to it. Just kind of walked around DC a little bit. But we actually drove from New York City, if you've heard of that, where I am right now, to Miami. So I got to see New York, New Jersey. Is it maybe? I think we skipped. I think you skipped Delaware on the highway there. Virginia, Maryland, and then North Carolina. We kind of got lost. Like we took these crazy back roads in North Carolina, kind of wild. Saw like Kitty Hawk, where flight was invented by the Orville Redenbacher guy. And then South Carolina hit like hit Chili's in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and then down Florida, Daytona Beach, Miami, and then over to the Bahamas. So that's my Maryland story. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The Raptors win. I don't think I have the energy to go 3.5 hours on this one. So hour 40, it's pretty fucking good. Again, we got the if you missed it, a lot of Vancouver Grizzlies memorabilia here. One last look at Anthony Peeler, one last look at Bryant Reeves in the white jersey. One last look at Sharif Abdur-Rahim. No, I was lying. There's another Sharif Abdur-Rahim. I think that one's, we got autographed Bryant Reeves, Big Country Reeves, who someone made a documentary searching or finding Bryant Reeves, finding Big Country. I just got too angry, couldn't watch it. I haven't talked about He Who Shall Not Be Named either, Mr. Francis. Don't talk about him. Sharif Abdur-Rahim in front of a waterfall. Great card. We've got Lee Mayberry in the white jersey with the white shoes and the white socks. We got Lawrence Moten, who I don't actually remember, so I'm kind of embarrassed about that. Lawrence Moten, he went to Syracuse apparently. Byron Scott, he came in the expansion draft. It was kind of underwhelming. The Grizzlies weren't allowed like a top 3 draft in their first few years, which is so fucking stupid because you had Allen Iverson and Kevin Garnett. Fuck the NBA, fuck David Stern, he's dead. Blue Edwards, autographed, Vancouver Grizzlies, got to meet him a few times. He had a very spicy affair. One of my old Facebook profile photos is me and him hanging out. We got George Lynch in the whites. We've got Sharif Abdur-Rahim in the black. That I think they took that jersey with them over to Memphis. Pretty ugly. Another autographed Bryant Reeves card. Used to wear his shoes sometimes in the summer, size 19s. I used to let him wear. Sharif Abdur-Rahim, 1996 rookie card with the teal. I guess there might be some green behind me here in New York, so maybe the teal isn't coming through. Kenny Gattinson. I love these like close-ups, the tops. It's almost like a Raptor Moments thumbnail. I love that. And then a double here. We got Mike Bibby and Sharif Abdur-Rahim. You don't really see that too much. Look, the double. We've got the autographed Vancouver Grizzlies shirt signed by, I don't know if it's the 97 or the 98. I should inspect it, but you can see Bryant Reeves there. You can see Blue Edwards. But yeah, it's the whole team. I won the free throw competition to get that. Also got courtside seats. Got to hang out with Steve Nash, Sean Bradley, 7'6", Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki, Mark Cuban, who just bought the team. That was cool. Didn't really know he was an Ayn Rand freak at that age. I know it was 23 years ago, but yeah, he had just bought the team. As I'm doing my spiel on Vancouver Grizzlies cards, someone named Luke says, "Should we trade Pascal?" Should we trade? Yes, we. I'm again, I feel like I always have to make this like disclaimer. So I was filming the David Johnson documentary in Victoria, BC in September of 2022, and there was an incident with hotel security. Me and hotel, like, it was really ugly. It was fucking bad. I made a video about Nick Nurse and Earl. They like walked past each other as I was filming. I did a video breakdown of this. It's like a really awkward encounter, Nick and Earl, who there was some stuff happening apparently. They didn't like each other too much. Wasn't invited on like a road trip at one point. So they had like an awkward encounter that I got on camera, like just accidentally while I was filming the documentary. But as I was filming the documentary, I actually was like in with the Raptors, and I lost all my media credentials. I lost all my connections to the team. And so like legally, Mr. Sherman, I think it was Mr. Sherman, Luke Sherman. Is that your name? Luke Sherman. I can't say like we in terms of the Raptors. Like I don't want to get sued. I don't have money for a lawyer. So I can't say like we. I mean, it's great that you're on the team. That's cool. So I would ask, what are you going to do? Are you going to trade Pascal Siakam? Because I've already talked about this 8 times on this fucking show. Um, I just wanted to do show and tell at the end of the show. I got big country, you know? Does nobody care? Does anybody, people just want, if I would trade Pascal, is that what people want to know? People, I don't know. Why do I even have this channel? I should just shut it down, to be honest. Like, it's pretty stupid. Doesn't make much sense, but if you want for the 9th time, is that, I don't know, do you guys think about stuff like that? Like, is that how you guys think? Like, oh, we should trade Pascal, we shouldn't trade Pascal. Isn't it like package dependent? I mean, I've put the theories out there that, you know, you've got Scotty and Pascal as the 2 best players. Do you put shooters around them? You know, they've got overlapping skill sets, kind of like a Tatum and Brown. You know, they got dog shit chemistry apparently. But do you put just shooters around them and kind of keep them together? You know, the conversations aren't really about their not having chemistry anymore. But like, why do you care if some random ass person like me in a bedroom would trade him? Like, why do people ask me this stuff? Do you not know how stupid I am? I am in a bedroom I'm wearing plantar fasciitis socks. I'm showing people, like real life human beings, my little trading card collections. My stupid Shoppers Drug Mart. It's a Shoppers Drug Mart. Shoppers Drug Mart Vancouver Grizzlies t-shirt. And look, my underwear's got holes in it. You know, I'm not killing it here. I got a tape measure here because I want to go to the court. I keep forgetting to bring this. I want to like put a little line where an NBA 3 would be. So when I'm launching from half court, if I know I'm taking threes or not, you know, I've got basketball needles here. Like I'm not the guy making the trades, you know. I got an old mouse. Do you guys remember these with the clicks? But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I think we went through all the notes from this game. I'm still grumpy from the fireworks. You know, my sleep schedule was interrupted by the fireworks, so that's Seaclay, did you get into your theory about how the Grizzlies were stolen? I think I did. I don't know. Were you not? Is that sarcastic? I mean, they were sabotaged from the beginning. Like, not being able to pick in the top 3 or 4, I think it was, for the first whatever years. They were only allowed to have 75% of the salary cap, which back then was like $2 million, I think. So they couldn't. So like, it was just these like really like arcane, stupid laws. Stu Jackson, the GM of the Vancouver Grizzlies, was so incompetent that there's a really good Vancouver Grizzlies podcast called with the number 1 pick Steve Francis or something like that, with the number 2 pick Steve Francis. It's just like a Vancouver Grizzlies only kind of channel, but yeah, Stu Jackson, just with his like who he drafted, was just like, Bryant Reeves wasn't even like the worst one. You know, there's like the Stromile Swifts, the Antonio Davis one year, I think. Just so many bad drafts, so many like it was just a horrible, horrible roster. I think they're like the worst team in professional sports history or something, or like one of the worst teams in professional sports history. And I mean, they didn't have a single All-Star. Sharif Abdur-Rahim made one All-Star team after he left the Grizzlies, but like while the Grizzlies were there, like for 6 years, they didn't have a single player who had an All-Star appearance. And a huge reason of that was the league just like not, just kind of fucking them with these. I mean, the Raptors had the same restrictions too, but the Raptors drafted a lot better. And then you have like, it doesn't make any sense to me why they even put a team in Vancouver if they were so quick to just like this guy, Michael Eisler, like he bought the team and like promised not to move it. And then I don't know like I know more about the Seattle whole fiasco. There's more made about the Seattle fiasco, and I think it was a lot more greasier in public, and that I could go a little bit deeper on. The Vancouver one I've almost kind of like blocked out. But yeah, the dude who purchased it, I think the Aquilinis maybe owned it before them. The guys who own the Canucks, who are also like not very popular, but they bought it, or he bought it, and then moved to Memphis. And I believe the league has to like okay it, or there's like a vote on it, and then that went through. But yeah, they were just screwed by the league, by the rules, by the GM, by the sale. Like everything was just really working against them. And then the Steve Francis fiasco, where he just refuses to go to Vancouver, and the league's like, okay, I guess so. Here you get Othello Harrington. Great, and he sucked. He was ass. Like he fucking sucked. And he like hated it in Vancouver. He did not want to be here. It was very public. Like he just hated it. I guess Houston's an amazing place where he was previously, especially with those like 02 or not 02, but 2000, Rocket teams post championship. The Seattle one was really bad. And again, they both happened within a 7-year window, and I kind of tie them together because they're similar in a way. It's like in Seattle, Clay Bennett bought the team and promised not to move it, and then, obviously, pretty quickly put the wheels in motion to get that thing the fuck out of Seattle as quick as he could, and into Oklahoma City. So, home of Timothy McVeigh. Super cool stuff. Super. Cat regime. Why were those salary restrictions in place? Good question. Stupid. It's kind of like how so do you guys know what private placements are in terms of investing or buying stocks? So like it's kind of out there cut, but like, so when a company is raising money, the VCs and the private equity people, the sharks, the whales, whatever. I didn't really mean to be matching. I think that's why I put the shirt over it. But so in order to get into what's called a private placement, I think the laws are changing a little bit, or not the laws changing, but companies are trying to like circumvent this, not out of the goodness of their heart, but just because it denies them access to investors that they could get. So a private placement is like usually the Series A round of raising capital, where so the VCs, they go out and they buy a shell company, and they get in for like 0.005 cents a share because they bought the thing. And then they do, friends and family or whatever, and then even a Series A after that. And now you're at like, half a cent per share. But to be in these private placements, to get in that early in these companies, you either have to be making $250K a year or be worth $1 million in, like, I don't think like a house counts. Like it has to be like, forget the word. I can't remember. But yeah, you have to be like worth over $1 million or be making $250K a year to get in on these deals. And originally the law was made, so to speak, to protect, average Joe who doesn't make $250K a year for being, bamboozled or whatever. But average Joe has to wait until the thing goes public, and now it's like 10 cents a share or 20 cents a share. Whereas the super rich people, they got in at 0.5 cents a share, so now their shares are worth, like astronomically more. Just another example of how wealth tends to stay in the same hands. So it kind of reminds me of like the salary situation where it's like, I don't really even know what the league's rationale behind that was, but I would assume it's some gaslighty thing, kind of like that, where it's like, oh, we're protecting you from, I don't know, hiring dumb or signing dumb free agents or something, or like bringing in inefficient free agents. Same as the draft picks. I don't understand why, they weren't allowed to be in the top. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess they didn't want to like piss off the other teams or whatever, but I don't think, or like, I don't foresee that happening with, if they do expand to Vegas and Seattle. I mean, this is the internet age, so things are a little bit more, I think people are on. Oh shit, we hit 2 hours. Holy shit. But yeah, I'm pretty much. El Pancho Mucho Grande says liquid. That's what I wanted to say. I thought it was liquid. Yeah, liquid. I don't know why I'm speaking of liquid. Yeah, it's like boiler room. And I'm liquid. Yeah, you got to have that liquidity. Just like Rogers has $4.9 billion in liquidity. But yeah, the Toronto Raptors win. So, the new team, the new look team is it's a lot more fun to watch. I'm not gonna have motion sickness if I watch another fast team or hockey or something. So it's exciting. It's it was getting pretty rough with the way things were, and it was kind of this nightmare scenario earlier in the year where you had this, not only like kind of these two things were like stacked on top of each other, where you had this roster that everybody was kind of used to and a bit bored of, and could just feel it, mixed with a coach who was very set in his kind of way of doing things. And that was, oh, there's the cat again. Fuck. They only show the cat for like a split second. They show it again here, but yeah, there it is. Hell yeah, Persian cat. And so yeah, that combination of having this roster that everybody's used to and everybody's kind of like, it's like, okay, we need some new shit. Ironically, you bring in a new coach, but the new coach is like reinforcing that same mentality or same idea of just this repetitiveness. And yeah, again, I said it earlier, but you got to give Darko credit. He's like, you played Pascal with 5 fouls. He's getting more creative with his lineups. He's letting lineups that cook a little more play instead of, doing his like earlier in the year, it was just like so strict. It was like, no matter what the context of the game was, at 6.5 minutes, this was happening. At 5 minutes, this was happening. At 2 minutes, this was happening. And it was almost like he wasn't really reacting to what was happening in the game. It was more like what he had in the notebook. And I think he's done a lot better lately. And now, I mean, I feel like most of the development stories that have come out have been with guards with him. Devin Booker, Desmond Bane. I feel like there was another one or two. But, now that he's got more guards to deal with and to play, there's more freedom to run these different lineups out. And I'm going to be interested to see what the Jonte Porter situation is. Again, he didn't score tonight, but he was +9 in his minutes, and they played really well when he was on the floor. And I really liked him in the 905, and it was noteworthy that he came in front of Chris Boucher in the lineup. So I don't know if we're going to see any Thad small ball centers or McDaniel small ball centers, but yeah, that was the game. There's still 41 people watching this. Jesus, that's way too many. Last time I tried to do a game of chicken where I tried to wait everybody out until only leave until there's like 0 people left, but that didn't end up working because I realized that some people were like further back in the stream, so they wouldn't catch up, but I was trying to get like everyone to leave before I left, so, or whatever I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm in New York, obviously behind me here. Got the Weight Watchers, so 50, got the Roku, 15 million listened to my eyes this year. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Taco Bell, Times Square. Just trying to get people to leave. Is CH still here? CH one of the 40, still 41. God damn it. TZ, do you think Canada will expand back to Canada soon? Or do you think the NBA will expand back to Canada soon? No. Every time Adam Silver's asked about it, he's like, yeah, I don't know, there's nothing in place. But then he'll go out of his way to say Seattle and Vegas, and I think Seattle really deserves it. Vegas, I mean, I'm like Victor, I hate Vegas. I like Vegas for black metal shows, buffets, and that's about it. Maybe people walking through a casino and not gambling. It's pretty fun. Using the hotel. They still have hotel computers in the lobby. Remember that was a big thing back in 23 years ago. You'd check your MSN Messenger from the Las Vegas hotel lobby computer. I don't know if that exists anymore, but they really didn't give Vancouver any type of shot, any type of kind of felt like they wanted to get out of Vancouver as quickly as they possibly could. So I don't see them coming back here for sure. Especially because in Seattle, it seems so much more likely, and kind of just makes, there's so much more history. It's so much more of a storied franchise. Like, even though I'm in Vancouver, I'm actually like, in a way, like more upset over the Seattle thing. Cause it's like, it's just so much more of a historic type deal. So yeah, if Seattle's going to be probably like the most guaranteed to get one, I don't really see Vancouver getting it. Maybe Montreal, but I haven't really looked into, maybe Regina or Kingston, St. John's. Maybe they'll get a team, but yeah, I don't. Adam Silver just seems like a Vegas guy to me. I don't really know how or why or how to describe it, but he just feels like one of those guys who's like, I can see Adam Silver really enjoying the Hangover movies. Which, by the way, I just put out Adam Silver video on this channel. Adam Silver talking about his underwear and committing war crimes, or fantasizing about committing war crimes. So go check that out. And one more game, one more W, and the Raptors get the pizza party. The New York boys delivering the pizza party. 2-0 in the Immauel Quickley, RJ Barrett era. How fitting would it be if the fellas from NY, where I am tonight, are the ones who kind of usher in the pizza party era. Some The Michael Scott Sparrow thing is actually crazy for me. I put that on Twitter, that Malachi in New York City, and it's the Michael Scott going to Sparrows and being like, "This is my favorite New York pizza place. Gonna get me a New York slice." I like resonate with that clip so much. By the way, British Office better, I know, but I resonate with that clip so much because I did the exact same thing. It was what's the subway station by Rockefeller Center? It's like underground, and this was back like 2005, and there was a Sparrows there, and it had a pizza pie, which you don't. I don't know if there's a single place in Vancouver that has a pizza pie, but I got a pizza pie. Just thinking of that Tom Green in Japan. Pizza pie, pizza pie. I like pizza pie. It's a funny clip. Tom Green in Japan. What could go wrong? But yeah, I got the pizza pie at Sparrows, and I was like, wow, this is like the coolest, most authentic New York thing I've ever experienced and like witnessed. And I thought it was just so cool. And then I was in a mall in Bellingham, Washington, which is where the DC Snipers hung out for a while back in 2002. Which if I was going to make a Netflix show, I would make it about the DC Snipers. No one's really told that story yet, and it's kind of it'd be so perfect for a Netflix type show. But yeah, they were like stationed in Bellingham, Washington. And anyways, I went to a mall there once after being in New York and go to Sparrows, and there was a Sparrows in the mall, and I was just like, damn it. They tricked me. I got a pizza pie. And yeah, so the Raptors win against the team that used to be in Vancouver, a place that actually has grizzly bears. Like, so another loss for the team that used to be in Vancouver. Stack them up, baby. Stack up the L's. Don't win anything. Stolen ass team. I'll never be over it. They took it away. So they took away the precious. They literally took away the precious. What's the equivalent of Memphis getting the precious? That's like, I don't know. I like Memphis rap, so I have nothing against them per se, but they stole